All right, let me know if you guys are able to hear me and see me. Hopefully you can. We're going to get started in just 1 second. I want to give everyone a chance to get filtered in here. I'm just checking one of my audio inputs. All right, let's see. There we go. Okay, that's working. Welcome, everyone. All right, so it looks like you guys are able to see my screen. We're going to get started in just a moment. I want to give everyone a chance to get filtered in. I want to try to start on time, but we'll just give everyone a moment to get filtered in. So while people are filtering in, if you want to give me a shout out of why you're here today, why you want to learn how to day trade, I'd love to hear your motivation and what's brought you to this workshop here today. So go ahead and type in the room the reason that you want to become a day trader. All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to check one other thing. That and that. Okay, good. Financial freedom. All right. I like the sound of that. So let me put it to you another way. What would you do if you make an extra $50,000 over the next 12 months? What would that mean to you? What would that mean you could do with your life? Would it mean you could quit your 9-to-5 job? Or would it just be some extra income on the side to supplement your current 9-to-5 job? Would it supplement retirement, allow you to take an extra trip, spend more time with your kids, your family, your friends? Sure, travel. All right, pay off some loans. Yep, pay some debts. That's good. Get that stuff paid off. So I'm going to pop up a survey here. Let's see. I'm going to do two. The first one is why do you want to be a day trader? And I want to get a good sense of where everyone's at. So the workshop today will be able to kind of target towards specifically what your goals are. So it seems like for the most of you today, it's to free yourself from the 9-to-5 grind. But for some of you, a decent percentage to earn extra income on the side while you keep your current job. So that works too. And actually a good number of people coming in now to supplement retirement income. All right, cool. Very good. So those are all great reasons to want to learn how to day trade. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of my motivations, what brought me into the market, and give you a sense of where I'm at. But we'll get into that in just a moment. So let's keep try to stay on time here, on schedule. I'm going to switch over so I can see my chat feed. Hey, Marco. Hey, Regan. All right, so let's jump in. The first thing I want you guys to see is our disclaimer. And this states that we're not a provider of financial advice. We're not a registered financial advisor, so I can't tell you where to buy and sell stocks. I can't tell you what to do with your own portfolio. What I can do is I can share with you what I do every single day. And so my goal is to teach you how to become an independently successful trader. All right, so we are an educator, not a financial advisor. So today we're going to talk about the 3 lessons on how I turned $583 into over $1 million of profit day trading 2 hours a day. And I bet every single one of you here today will make an extra 2 hours, clear an extra 2 hours out of your day so you can trade if you knew that it had the potential to make you a millionaire. Now, this took me about 2.5 years. I didn't do it overnight. And, full disclosure, you're not going to learn how to make $1 million overnight in this workshop. I haven't figured out how to do it. So instead, what you're going to learn is a system and a strategy for how to trade the market where you're going to minimize your risk and maximize on your profit potential. And that's exactly what I did when I turned this small $583 account into over $1 million of profit. The reality is, many of you guys know this, the market is totally rigged. People ask me this all the time, Ross, is the market rigged? And the answer is yes, it is rigged. It's rigged to favor people with big money. It's rigged to favor the hedge funds, the institutional funds, and regular traders like us. Well, generally, we don't have much of an advantage. We get sort of eaten up and spit out by the big brokers. And my goal, both with Warrior Trading and with this workshop here today, is that I'm able to help you find an edge in the market so you can become consistently profitable. The only thing stopping you from being a successful trader is a strategy. And if you're not successful and you've been trying to trade for weeks or for months or even for years, it's simply because you haven't had a profitable trading template put in front of you, one that's consistent and that is scalable. And that's exactly what I'm going to give you here today as we talk about how to day trade stocks that are gapping up. So I'm going to give you 3 reasons to stay to the very end of this workshop. The first is that you're going to learn 3 life-changing chapters on day trading. These will help you become a better trader. You will all leave this workshop today with skills and knowledge that you didn't have this morning. All right. Second reason to stay to the end, I'm going to give you guys a free copy of a best-selling book titled How to Day Trade. You can download it at the end of the workshop. I might have a copy right around here, but in any case, you're all going to get a copy at the end of the workshop. And number 3, I've put together the ultimate getting started bundle with over $19,000 in trading courses, chat room access, and tools designed to help you accelerate your trading. And Alan just asked a great question. He said, Ross, how did you day trade with $583? I thought $25,000 was the minimum. And so our little secret here is that that's not true. It's not the minimum. And I was able to day trade with a broker that doesn't require a $25,000 minimum. Their minimum balance is $500. And I didn't know about that as a beginner trader. And so as a result, I was feeling like I wouldn't even be able to start trading because I didn't have that $25,000. So I want to help pull back the curtains for you guys so you understand that there's a lot of options out there for beginner traders, and you're not, going to be stuck with having to put up a $25,000 minimum balance to start trading. Now, to give you a little bit of a teaser of some of the things we're going to be looking at today, this is the power of small caps. Small caps are low-price stocks. The small caps are stocks with small market caps. And this is a stock here that over the course of 2 days went from about $8 to over $72 per share. Look at this move. I mean, this is truly incredible. And these are the types of stocks that I was trading as I took that tiny account and turned it into over $1 million. A stock that goes up 200, 300% in one day. Those are the opportunities that we're looking for. So this is a stock that I made just over $13,000 day trading. We're going to talk about this stock, and we're going to talk about several others like it during the workshop today. This right here is my 2018 1099 from Lightspeed, and it shows $487,000 of profit. You can see right down here at the bottom. So it's important for me that I'm totally transparent with you. And that's one of the reasons I upload my broker statements to our website every single month. I want you guys to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that these are real trades, they're real profits. They're not profits from a simulator or something like that. This is real money, and this strategy has made me a millionaire, and it's made thousands of students at Warrior Trading very successful as well. And my goal is that some of you guys by the end of this workshop will have really soaked in the lessons today and will be some of my next success stories. Now, today's workshop is for everyone. Some of you guys are international. Give me a shout out of where you're logging in from here today. I bet we've got students logging in from all over the world. So for those of you who are logging in from Europe, who are logging in from Asia, who are logging in from Australia, you can trade the U.S. market. Did you hear that? You guys can trade the U.S. market. Because guess what? The market has never been more accessible. You can access the U.S. market from your phone. You can access it from your laptop. You can access it from your desktop computer. The market has never been more accessible. And so for U.S. residents, it's terrific. But it's also terrific for everyone all around the world because you can become traders as well. We have students from over 140 different countries all around the world who are trading the U.S. market. And so that means traders in the U.K. and Italy, they trade the U.S. market in the afternoon. U.S. market opens at 9:30 Eastern Time, which is 3:30 in the afternoon in Italy. So they trade from 3:30 in the afternoon local time until about 10 o'clock at night. And they just adapt their schedule so they can capitalize on the tremendous opportunity that we have in the U.S. market. Now, if you are international and you want to trade your own market, you can apply the strategies that I'm going to share with you today to trade your market. The only thing is you will need to get some different tools that are specific to your local market. And you won't be able to watch over my shoulder as I'm trading every single day because I trade the US market. Now, as I mentioned just a moment ago, the PDT rule is a rule that was enforced in, I believe it was February 27th, 2001. And the PDT rule stated that if you wanted to be a day trader, you needed to maintain a minimum balance of $25,000. And that's obviously completely cost prohibitive for the majority of beginner traders. $25,000 is a ton of money. And so this was just after the dot-com bubble and the flash crash and everything else. And of course, in the late 90s, the market was going crazy, and so many people were getting into day trading because easy access to online trading platforms. And then a lot of people got burned. The dot-com bubble burst. A lot of people lost a lot of money, and so regulators enforced this new rule, thinking that if you had $25,000, that meant you would be more experienced and you'd be less likely to make mistakes. Well, in fact, that's not necessarily true. Lots of people put in $25,000 and still made mistakes. And so as a result of that rule, there were a lot of brokers that ended up opening their doors that catered specifically to day traders with less than $25,000. And in fact, there are 3 of them that our students use that will allow you to start trading with as little as $500, which is awesome. So I'm going to share those 3 brokers with you at the end of this workshop because I want you to know that you don't need to put in $25,000 to start day trading. That's what I did when I was getting started because I didn't know about those brokers. You guys don't have to go through that same frustration. Now, I want to talk a little bit about my journey to getting to where I am right here. Only fitting that I'm wearing a Journey t-shirt for this workshop. It was a bumpy road, no doubt about it. I grew up in Vermont, rural Vermont, and this is a picture of us up at our farmhouse during the summer where we had no running water, we had no electricity, and at night when my mom would read us stories, she would read with a gas lantern. We lived a pretty simple life, but in the 90s, as I was going to middle school, I met a lot of kids who had PlayStations and Nintendo 64s, and I got hooked. I was totally into it, and having been sort of deprived of a lot of that stuff growing up, I was like all in. And in 1997, I think is when we got our very first computer, and one of the first things I learned how to do, interestingly enough, was build websites. And that skill certainly came back and helped me when I built our first website for Warrior Trading. But as I went through high school and went into college, when I went into college, there really weren't a lot of colleges that gave degrees in website design. It just wasn't really a thing that a lot of schools did. So I went to school and I just ended up feeling lost and majoring in art, fine art, and focusing on green architecture and just sort of having a hard time finding my path. Because what I really wanted to do, there just wasn't a curriculum for that. And so I ended up graduating college and working at the Sunoco gas station. And over my shoulder on this side, I've got a Sunoco gas station sign. I mean, I literally had a college degree and was pumping gas because I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. It was around that time that I remembered my good friend growing up who had made about $16,000 trading a penny stock. He bought a penny stock, I think it was at like, I don't know, 13 or 15 cents, and sold it as it squeezed up to 60, 75 cents, and made $16,000. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. I didn't even know it was possible to make that much money trading penny stocks, especially from Vermont. But he proved that it was possible, and with that idea in mind, I opened up my computers and put aside the web design stuff and started focusing on day trading. And I embraced it just as I did with web design, knowing that this was a potential skill that once I learned, I could use to generate income on my own time from the comfort of my own home, on my laptop. And so that began the journey. It was about a 2-year journey before I actually became consistently profitable. So those of you guys who are at the very beginning right now, this is your first couple of weeks or first sort of months dabbling in learning about trading, I want you to recognize that if you do it all on your own, if you go all by yourself, there's a very good chance that it could take you years to find any success. And I didn't have the benefit in those days of having a training program like Warrior Trading that I could jump right into, where I could learn a strategy and a template and just hit the ground running. I had to do it all on my own. So about 18 months later, this was my trading station. I had built it up. I'd add some new computers and new monitors, and I was really serious about it. But 18 months later, I still was not profitable. I was still struggling. And I had gotten married in my early 20s, and my wife at the time was really optimistic that I would become a successful day trader and that it would allow us to travel the world and be like kind of digital nomads and all that stuff. And after 2 years of waiting, she was getting sick of it. She was getting frustrated. She was like, something is clearly not connecting with him. He's keeps trying to do it. It's not working. And one day she went to lunch and she never came home. And we filed for divorce. And at that point, I feel like I'd lost, I've lost almost everything. I'd lost a ton of money. I'd gotten myself into debt because of my trading losses, because I was spending money on credit cards and not able to pay those bills. About $30,000 of credit card debt, lost tons of money trading, had lost my marriage, and I was just like, wow, this is now, I'm so far into it that I can't go back. I can't give up now, because then it'll be all for nothing. And so I committed myself to making it happen. And at night or in the afternoons when I was done trading, I would go up into the woods behind my house and cut down trees. I still do it. This is me now. This was last year, but I still go up in the woods and cut down trees. It's now kind of a thing that I enjoy doing, preparing for winter, cutting up firewood. But in those days, nearly 10 years ago, I was doing it because I needed that firewood to keep the house warm through the winter, because I couldn't afford electric or home heating oil. And then you have this transition and this turning point that's led me to where I am today right now, and this is my new office. I'm a self-made millionaire and the founder of Warrior Trading, which is the largest online trading community. And I feel really fortunate that I found success and that I've been able to give back to so many beginner traders. So where was the turning point for me? The turning point was discovering the power of trading 20 to 30% movers and learning to take small profits versus swinging for home runs. Now, this sentence right here, it took 18 months for me to refine all of that down to this. And in fact, my final turning point was another $5,000 red day. It was the very beginning of August, and I lost $5,000 in the first week of the new month. Now, in those days, my monthly goal was to make $5,000. Because if I could make $5,000, that would be enough for me to pay all my bills and live comfortably up in Vermont. And, so I had pretty modest goals, keeping in mind that now I'm making closer to $40,000 to $50,000 a month. So losing $5,000 in the first week of the month was the exact opposite of what I needed to do. And what it ended up doing was putting my account below the $25,000 PDT level. I had managed to collect enough money to keep myself above that level, but it was almost like $25,000 was zero. Because anytime I dipped below it, I wasn't allowed to keep day trading. And in those days, I was using E-Trade as my broker. So I would dip below 25,000. I'd have to stop trading. I'd be able to put more money back in, get back above 25,000, and I kept going up and down right at this level. A lot of traders who were trading during those days before we knew about these other brokers can probably remember that frustration. And so at the very beginning of the month, I lost $5,000, and my account was below 25 grand. I wasn't going to be able to day trade. It was at like $19,000. And so I spent the rest of the week poring over all of my trading data. And what I did was I sorted all of my trades from biggest winner to biggest loser. And as I looked at them, I was trying to find a pattern, a hint, a clue at something that might have been working for me. And what I found under all of those trades, at this point I had almost 2 years of trading history, thousands of trades, I actually discovered that I was a profitable trader. The problem was I was trading about 5 different strategies at the same time. And so my net was a negative. I was net losing, but if I cut out 4 of the strategies that weren't working and only traded this one strategy, I was profitable. And at this point, being down $5,000, I was like, hey, if I can just be profitable, even if I am only making $1,000 a month, at least I'm moving in the right direction. And so for the rest of the month, I paper traded that strategy. And while I was paper trading that strategy, I was listing things in my barn on Craigslist to sell to raise money to get myself back up above $25,000. So I got myself above $25,000 by September. And in September, I traded this one strategy, the one strategy that I'm going to share with you guys today. And the reason I'm sharing all of this kind of preamble with you is because I want you to understand the cost of finding this strategy, the very real cost, which was 2 years of trial and error, heartache, and real frustration. So in September, I traded this strategy with real money. And at the end of September, I'd made $5,000. And I was just like, wow, okay, crazy. It's working. It's actually working. All I need to do is repeat. Do the same exact thing. Don't change anything. October, green. November, green. December, I made $10,000. Statistically, December and January are 2 of my best months of the year. So I was like, I'm finally getting it. Now, I did eventually have a red month the next year. I don't remember if it was in February or March. And that first red month was really scary for me because I thought, oh no, maybe it's broken. Maybe I lost it. Maybe the strategy doesn't work. But I slowed down. I again reviewed all of my trades. I had confidence that I was following the rules and that just happened to be a bad month, and I stayed the course. Rather than change in a panic, I stayed the course, and things improved, and the next month was green. And from that point, I realized it's okay to have a red month because it's not the strategy that's broken, it's just that sometimes the market gives you ups and gives you downs. And that right there was my turning point. So some people will ask me, and I'm sure some of you have this question right now, you know, Ross, why did you even bother creating Warrior Trading if you're such a successful day trader? Well, the reality is when I first opened the doors at Warrior Trading, I wasn't a successful day trader. When I first opened our blog in 2012, I was still learning how to trade. I was still trying to figure it out. And the blog was just my way of, I don't know, it was just sort of like writing about trading was meditative. I enjoyed doing it. And it kind of was able to get me back into doing website stuff. And by 2014, I realized we were getting hundreds of thousands of visitors to our website. And so that's when I realized that there were a lot of other people who were trying to figure out this whole thing of day trading. There were a lot of other people interested in learning. And that's when we opened our chat room, and that's when I taught our very first day trading course. In 2015, I wrote a book titled How to Day Trade, which you guys are going to get a copy of today, that became a bestseller. And you know, things have just grown month over month, year over year since then. And it's been really incredible. It's been very organic. It just sort of has happened and unfolded in this amazing way. And of course, as you might imagine, running the largest trading community on Wall Street with over 5,000 members is not something I could do by myself. And so the team has grown. And we now have over 30 team members around the United States who are working behind the scenes to help make your dream to become a successful trader a reality. And some of them are right here in this workshop today. Kate, Steph, Karina, Arch, Chase, Travis, Alex, and Deli, a few others maybe. They're going to be able to answer some questions that I might miss. Some of them will reach out to you towards the end of this workshop if you have questions, and you know, will be available to follow up with you. They are all the people that work behind the scenes incredibly hard to help you achieve your dream, to help you become a successful trader. Because after all, that's why you're here today. Because you want to figure out how to be a successful trader the way I am. So you're going to know by the end of this workshop, without a doubt, the only way to turn $583 into $1 million in 2 years is by day trading. Day trading, or perhaps winning the lottery. And your odds of winning the lottery are very, very low. I traded an average of 5 times a day for 2 hours a day. About half an hour of prep, about an hour of trading, and then about half an hour of recap. So 2 hours a day of trading. Total number of trades was about 2,890 right here. Largest gain, $31,000. Largest loss, $19,000. And of course, by the time I had the biggest winner and the biggest loser, and hey, Tyler, yeah, give you a shout out. No, it's not a replay, it's a live workshop. We'll do a Q&A towards the end. By the time I had the biggest winner and biggest loser, my account was obviously a lot larger than $583. The first few weeks, the winners were like $100 a day. But quickly, they grew and the account grew, and I was able to turn it into $1 million. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the metrics, but I just wanted you guys to see that. And of course, a lot of you guys have seen me around, whether it's been on Bloomberg, the Huffington Post, Interactive Brokers, Benzinga, Lightspeed, eSignal, Trade Ideas, YouTube, Facebook. I've been really active on social media, and so you guys have probably been seeing my content over there. We've got over 750,000 followers across social media, which is pretty incredible. I was featured in the Huffington Post in this article here, featured in Stocks and Commodities magazine here, and nominated in 2016, 17, 18 for the Benzinga FinTech Awards for Best Educator. And we use Trustpilot. Some of you guys have heard of Trustpilot. They're the #1 ranked testimonial site in the world. And there's a reason for that. It's because every single testimonial is by a verified student, an actual student. So you never have to worry about what you're reading. Is it true? Is it not true? It's from an actual student. That's cool that you were up in Putney. That's, yeah, not too far from Brattleboro. So I want you guys to see this, to know that who you are learning from is credible to teach on these subjects. All right. So I'm going to play a video for you here. I'm going to pop in this. Let's see if this audio comes through okay. Let me know if you guys are able to hear it. Looks like it's actually playing through my main computer.
I'm in an MBA program right now with a focus of finance, and it's just been in tandem helping me understand everything.
I'm in real estate, and so we get stuck in an office a lot of times, don't have a lot of interaction with people outside of going to their house, and so I like the camaraderie of the chat room and especially the inner circle chat room.
It's not mechanical, it's like a family. People actually care and move them. You have questions, they email you, they email you back.
Having that family and the people to like actually bounce ideas off of, everybody has the same issues is what you find out, and to go through that experience with everybody in the room that actually you can communicate with is huge.
It's not like rocket science or anything like that, you know? Everybody can do it, and warrior trading, I think, is the best possible tool.
I would tell them it's definitely worth the money. In a very short time it'll pay for itself.
If it's something that they're going to put any kind of real money into trading, they need to consider some education.
I'd tell them to definitely do it. Ever since I joined, my metrics have gotten better.
All right, well, I'll just skip
winners
the video
have gotten
since it doesn't
bigger,
seem
my
to be playing
losers
very
have gotten
well.
smaller, and the percentage of winners to losers is, is better. It's just like world of difference.
So hopefully you guys were able to hear at least the audio portion of that video. Those were some students that attended a workshop that we hosted in New York City, which was a lot of fun. And we did a survey on that day during the workshop. We asked everyone to raise their hand if they were profitable. And every single person in the room on that day raised their hand and was profitable, except for one student, which is awesome. I mean, you know, I felt bad for the one student who wasn't able to put his hand up, but for everyone else that was able to lock up profit, really, really cool. So Lucas just gave me a pretty cool deal. He said, Ross, I'll give you $100,000 and you can take 25% of all the profits. So here's the deal. I don't need the $100,000 because I'm a profitable trader. I already have over $100,000 in my trading account. So here's the thing. What I want to do is I want to teach you how to take your own $100,000 and how to turn it into 200 grand. There's no reason for you to give that money to someone else when you can learn the skill to trade it yourself. So these are the topics today. We're going to talk about Stock Charts 101 and my favorite indicators. We're going to talk about how to find hot stocks each morning. And number 3, my favorite chart patterns for buying a stock. Bonus lesson, preparing to trade with real money, we'll talk about towards the very end. All right, so this is the game plan here for today. So let's go ahead and jump in. Stock Charts 101, the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. All right, keep it simple, stupid. So let's go ahead and jump in. some of you guys, and actually let me pop a survey up here. And it's okay, Lucas. I mean, I've had a lot of people that ask me that, can I just trade for them? But the reality is I'll make a lot more money just trading my own money than trading other people's. So I'm going to put a survey here of how long have you been trading? And I'll let you guys answer it. I want to see how many of you are totally brand new to trading and have never actually taken a trade. So it seems like a good portion of you guys have been trading for a while, but it seems like kind of split between brand new and have been doing it for a while. So the ones who have been doing it for a while, most likely kind of frustrated, not finding the success you've been wanting. Those of you who are brand new, you're at the very beginning of your journey, which is awesome. You're a blank slate. You don't have bad habits formed, hopefully not too many of them anyways, and this is a great place to get started. So this helps me because what we're going to talk about here with stock charts is some pretty basic stuff, but I want to make sure that everyone is on the same page, so when we get into the more advanced stuff in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, that I haven't lost anyone. All right, so this is a stock chart. All right, now a stock chart is simply the historical price action of a stock over a period of time. All right, it's very simple. It's just what the price was over a long period of time. And so what we're looking at here is a daily chart. This stock has, the stock is VLRX right here, and it says D for daily. All right, now each one of these little shapes are called candlesticks, and each one of these candlesticks represent 1 day of trading, 1 day of price action. Now, I'm going to talk about those individual candlestick shapes in a minute, but just first, I want you to understand that this is a daily chart. So each one of those shapes is 1 day of time. And now this is a 5-minute chart. Each one of these shapes is 5 minutes of time. And we're going to talk about what these shapes mean in a second. So this is 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. These 3 candles took place over the course of 15 minutes. Now you can also look at 1-minute charts. We've changed our time frame right here to 1 minute. So on this 1-minute chart, as you can see, each one of these candles represent 1 minute of time. 1 minute of time, and that's it. Now the shape of the candlestick will help us draw conclusions about the strength or weakness of the stock, whether the stock is going up, whether the candle's green, whether the stock is going down, candle's red. So the basic anatomy of a candlestick is that it provides us with 4 critical pieces of information. Each candlestick, each one of those candlesticks. The 4 pieces of information, we've got the open price, we've got the close price, we've got the low, which is the very bottom of what we call the lower shadow or the candle wick, and we've got the high, the very top up here. Open, close, high, low. Those are the 4 pieces of information. Whether the candle is red or green, we always have those 4 pieces of information. Now with a red candle, the open is at the top and the close is at the bottom. And the only way we know that this is a candle that the stock went down is because it's colored red. If it didn't have a color to it, we wouldn't have any way of knowing whether this was the open and this was the close or the other way around. Now, when multiple candlesticks are lined up together, they can form candlestick patterns. So these patterns we've learned to recognize as being indicators of strength or warning signs of weakness. This is a pattern, for instance, where you have a green candle that moves up, you have 3 candles of pullback, and then the first candle to make a new high, which was this green candle right here as it broke this price, is a sign of strength. Strength coming back into the stock as it moves back up. Once you learn to recognize these patterns, you can be a very successful trader. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of my favorite candlestick shapes. And these are individual candlestick shapes. So let's look at it. This right here is what we would call an inverted hammer, also known as a shooting star candle. All right, shooting star. It's a shooting star, we call it that because it has this long upper wick, kind of like a shooting star in the sky. And then the body is the actual star. What do you think this candle means? This is a candle of indecision. It's a candle that's indicative of a possible change in trend and change in momentum. because during this period of time, the stock squeezed up, was not able to close at the highs because sellers regained control and it dropped back down. So on the one hand, you might think, oh, it's a sign of strength. The stock squeezed up, but the fact that it closed way down here is a sign of weakness. So it's a potential indicator for a reversal. And let's look at a couple examples. Now this is the shooting star up at the top, right here, where you've got that long upper wick. It continues a little bit further, it's not able to reclaim the highs, and it rolls over. So this was, in fact, a reversal indicator, and the confirmation was probably that first red candle. Down here, we look at the same pattern as a bottoming tail. We can't call it a shooting star, because shooting stars don't come from the earth, they come from the sky, but we call it this bottoming tail pattern, or a hammer candle. That bottoming tail showing we sold off, but we weren't able to hold at the lows, and we squeezed back up. First candle to make a new high is confirmation of the reversal. And so once you begin to understand this language, you're learning a universal language for trading the market. And this is a language you can apply to any market anywhere in the world. You can apply this to Forex. You can apply this to commodities like coffee, steel, gold, natural gas, oil, or you can apply it to the regular stock market the way I do. So let's look at my second favorite candlestick formation. This is called a doji candlestick. Now, candlesticks are Japanese by origin, and so some of the names might sound Japanese, like doji. So this candlestick right here is also a candle of indecision. The open and close price are at almost the same place, but it squeezed up, dropped down, and then closed at the same place. So it shows a lot of indecision, right? The fact that it dropped down, squeezed up, and then closed, or that it squeezed up, dropped all the way down, and then came back up shows a lot of volatility. And when we're trading stocks that are moving up like this, and we're holding it, we don't want to see indecision. We want to see strong, decisive momentum. We want to see people that are really confident, that are pressing the buy button, and that's going to be reflected in the fact that the candles are green and continuing to move up. So if we have an instance here where at the top of a move up, you see a candle of indecision, it's an indicator to be careful and to possibly step back out of the trade. Confirmation will be if the stock goes sideways, as it does here in this example. So check this out. On this stock here, this was a stock that was moving up pre-market, and then at the top of the move had a big doji candle, this red doji. It then had a second doji in a row. So it was like candle of indecision as it was going up. And then it kind of came down and was another candle of indecision. And so then it sort of reversed and popped up. And then it dropped back down. And there was another candle of indecision right here. And there was another one right here. And so you can see how these kind of are marking the extremes. Candle of indecision, a reversal. Candle of indecision, a reversal. And so the more you learn to recognize these patterns, the faster you'll get at getting in and getting out of the market before you get the confirmation, which is the stock selling off. Here's another small doji here at the top of the move up, a doji, a pullback, another sort of doji right down here, and then a move back higher. Check out this example. I mean, this is almost picture perfect. And so if in real time you saw this unfolding, you saw this stock selling off, selling off, selling off, selling off, and then form this green doji at the very bottom, because you've learned this language, you would know that that's an indicator of a possible reversal, and it's worth watching to the long side. So you'd be looking to buy this first green candle as it broke the high of the previous candle. We call that candle over candle. When a candle breaks the high of the previous, it's candle over candle, and that's a sign of strength. And so this would have been a very easy opportunity to get in here with a max loss at the low and ride the momentum back up. Now here, when it pulls back, you could have either gotten out and taken your profit, or you could hold, knowing that you're still in with a really good price, and give it a chance, and then it gave a second move. Nicholas asked, what if the doji is red? Doesn't matter if it's red or green, either way is a candle of indecision, which means the direction is changing. Of course, if it is green slightly, that shows maybe a little bit more strength to the upside. In this case, if it's red slightly, maybe a little more weakness, but not so significant that I would really even mention it in general. Now, this is important. Candles during sideways consolidation are not important. That's important. Because what you have here, when you have sideways consolidation, you already have indecision. The stock is going sideways. Going sideways is indecisive. So a doji during a period of indecision is not significant. A hammer candle during a period of consolidation and sideways price action is also not significant. These candlestick formations are really only significant when stocks are trending up or trending down. That's when changes in momentum or changes in sentiment between being strongly biased to the long side and then it's a moment of hesitation, that's when you're going to find an opportunity. You won't find it in sideways consolidation. So when a student says, hey Ross, look, here's a doji right here, it's a candle that opened and closed at the same place, roughly. Well, yeah, but the stock is going sideways, so it's really not significant. There's lots of dojis here because the stock is indecisive. Now, understanding chart time frames and understanding candlestick formations are important. What I want to show you now is sort of getting into the meat of what we're going to talk about today, which is learning how to day trade gaps on daily charts. And some of you guys are like, I heard day trade, I heard daily charts. What is gap? That word I'm not familiar with. And so a gap is simply when a stock opens higher than it closed the previous day. Now, someone who's been trading for 6+ months, give me a shout out of why a stock would open higher than it closed the previous day. Help someone that's at the very beginning of their journey. So this is an example right here, as you can see, where the stock closed at this price right here on this day. This was in December of 2017. This was a while ago. And on the next day, it opened right here. Remember that the bottom of the candle, of course, is the open price. And so you guys are correctly answering news and catalyst. This had a news headline. It had breaking news. And that resulted in the stock opening higher the next day. And so the reason it opens higher is because when you have the news, there are so many people that put out buy orders that are like, oh wow, I want to buy this stock, that they imbalance the stock to the buy side. There's more people who want to buy it than want to sell it, and therefore the price goes up to accommodate. It's supply and demand. It's as simple as that. And that creates gaps in the stock. Now, if the market was open 24 hours a day, there wouldn't be gaps. But the fact that the market is only open from 9:30 until 4 p.m., we have gaps. And so one of the things that, Rob, is important to recognize is that it's not necessarily about how legitimate the news appears to us. When I read news headlines for pharmaceutical companies or for biotech stocks, a lot of times I can't even understand it because it's all clinical trial, medical jargon. But if I see that the stock is up 15 or 20%, I recognize that the market is responding favorably to this headline, and therefore it is significant in some way. So that's sort of how I filter out whether a headline is significant or not. It's how is the market reacting. So this right here is a gap, and we're going to talk a lot about how to find gaps on charts and how we're able to use them to create the formation of a low-risk day trade. So now, when we're looking at gaps on charts, one of the things that you'll also notice as you're looking back on charts are periods where you have really large candles. So on this day right here, as this stock is squeezing up, there's a high right here of about $8.77. That's the high of this candle. Okay, so as I look to the left, which is this way, of course, and I look up, which is this way, I'm looking for the next level of resistance, and I don't see it until 1950. And so this is what I would call not a gap, but a large window or pocket of no resistance on the chart, meaning that this price of 877 is a trigger. And if we break that critical trigger, it gives us room potentially all the way back to 1950. Now, these types of triggers and windows can be formed either by large candles or by large gaps. This right here is another example of a gap. A stock that closed at 12.11 and opened up here at 16.86. So that's a nice 20-30% gap. I mean, that's a significant gap. The stock gap up, and then what happened on this day? It went from 16 all the way up to a high of, this is the day we went up to $72 per share, which is incredible. So that's going to form a gap on the chart. Right back here in this area, we have a small gap right in here. So that's a little gap right in that area. Stock closed at $4.50, opened the next day at $5. That's a nice 10% gap. And then as we look at the stock sort of in this area, we've got a large window above this price with pretty much no resistance. Check out this gap. This stock gapped up from $5.48 right here, the high of this candle, all the way up to $8.11. That's more than a 50% gap. I mean, it was nearly 100%, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And guess what? We see that type of thing all the time. In the last month, there have been more than a dozen stocks gapping up more than 50% in one day. So if we go back, remember when I said my turning point was trading stocks that were up more than 30% on the day? It's trading stocks like this. So I want you to understand what they look like on the daily chart, and then I'm going to show you how to find them in real time. This is a day where the stock did in fact gap up. It closed the previous day at 5.15 and opened the next day at 7.05 and then sold off the entire day and went red. We would call this a bearish engulfing candle. And this is what happens if you choose the wrong gapper. So you might think, okay, Ross, I heard chapter 1. I'm going to day trade gappers. I'm going to go do this on my own. I've got it from here. Well, be careful, because a lot of the stocks that gap up are actually going to fade. And you need to be able to learn which ones have the criteria for home run potential. And there's 5 criteria points I'm going to talk about. And which ones are more likely to do something like this. So, chapter 2. Finding the hot gappers each morning. So what I do every single morning is I build a daily watch list using my proprietary scanning system. So this is me during a live seminar building a watch list for our students. And this is the challenge. Out of 10,000 stocks in the market, how are you going to find the 2 or maybe 3 each day that have the potential to move 30%? It's like finding a needle in a haystack, right? The majority of stocks do this. The majority of stocks just go sideways, and you can't day trade stocks that just go sideways. You're not going to make money on that. I mean, you could literally put $5 million into this stock, and you wouldn't be up or down more than $5,000 the entire day, which is crazy. So this is a stock that's not volatile. If you're putting a tiny account like, $500 into it, you're not going to be up and down more than 5 cents. You're just not going to make money. So I build the watch list every day. Between 9 and 9:30, I build my watch list and I publish it for all of my students. When the bell rings at 9:30, that's when we start trading off the watch list. This is the gap and go strategy. So this is a stock that was gapping up pre-market. It was already up, the bell rings, and it continues higher. And this gave multiple opportunities to take trades on the pullbacks right here and early on for the break of the pre-market high, which was $5.95. Let's look at a couple other examples of gap and go trades. Here's a stock that was gapping up with a pre-market high of $5.58, and it hit a high of $16.20. That is a 100% move. So if you have that small $583 account, this is the type of stock that you want to be trading. This is the type of stock where you can double your account in one day. And it's not trading those high-risk penny stocks that my friend was trading when he first got started, most of which are pump and dumps, and you'll buy it at 10 cents and it's going to drop to a penny. These are actual companies listed at the New York Stock Exchange that have actual news on the days we're trading them. These are opportunities. And if you're not capitalizing on these opportunities, you're missing out. There's a whole stock market, and it's the new stock market economy that's happening right now. And it's people all around the world that are realizing there's an incredible amount of volatility in the market. There's an opportunity because the market's never been more accessible as it is today, and they're joining in and capitalizing on these big breakouts. Check it out. This is the stock that over the course of 2 days went from $8 all the way up to $143.03 per share. Incredible. This is a stock that made some people just in this one trade millionaires. Believe it or not. And it's not hard to believe when you see a stock go from $5 to $142. You just do the math. You're holding 1,000 shares, you know, that's $1,000 for every dollar it goes up. That would have been taking a $5,000 position and turning it into over $140,000 of profit. Or a 10,000 share position, a $50,000 position, and turning it into $1.4 million. That's the potential of the market that is right in front of you today. So each morning, I have to go through my criteria of trying to identify which stocks have home run potential, which stocks I can make consistent profits on, and which stocks are very risky and have a high likelihood of failing. These are the 5 points. Number 1, I look for above average volume today. If a stock has above average volume today, there's a reason for it. It tells me that other traders around the world are interested in this stock. It's doing something a little special. Number 2, it needs to be gapping up at least 5% versus yesterday's close. Hi, Mary. If it's gapping up at least 5%, that tells us that it's bucking the trend of the overall market. It's doing something special. Number 3, there should be, ideally, a news event that's moving the stock higher. Now, there are times where we don't have news. There will be times where a stock is up 5 or 10%, and maybe it's on sympathy to another stock that had news. There was a company not that long ago that was like a electric car company, and it wasn't Tesla, but it was like a sort of like second electric car company in Canada, like Tesla. And Tesla had news, and then that company went up. You know, so sometimes you have sympathy momentum across the market, and that's okay. That's fine, as long as you have the gap and the above average volume. Now, most day traders are going to prefer stocks between $1 and $10. The reason? It's affordable. That's as simple as that. It's an affordable stock. When you've got a small account of less than $5,000, these are the types that you want to trade. And even for me, today, with a larger account, I still focus on trading these lower price stocks because I can trade a $5 stock with a $100,000 account if I want to. And instead of making maybe $500 in one day, I'll make maybe $10,000 or $15,000 or even $40,000. The best day that I had during my $583 to $1 million challenge was a day where I made over $40,000, which is pretty crazy. And then number 5, we want the stock to have less than 10 million shares available to trade. Okay, so this is going to throw some of you guys off. When I first got back into the market, when I was like, I was in the market a little bit in my late teens, early 20s, like very dabbling, just total passive. But when I got back into the market, one of the things that I needed to learn about was float. So there's this thing called float. The float is the number of shares available to trade, and every single company has a different float. So here's the way it works. When a company does an initial public offering, an IPO, what they're doing is they're selling shares onto the market. So if Warrior Trading does an initial public offering of 10 million shares, and we priced it at $10 a share, we would raise $100 million, right? So you raise $100 million, you obviously need investors willing to pay $10 a share. That means they need to believe that with their $100 million combined investment, you're going to be able to take this company from, X or from A to Z. You're going to be able to multiply it by 10 and grow. Now, from that point forward, you have 10 million shares on the market available to trade. It's a fixed number of shares that have been sold. And so we call that the float. That's the supply. Now, what's important here is that what we were looking at with these 5 criteria are indicators of an imbalance between supply and demand. Above average volume is demand. Gapping up 5% indicates demand. News indicates demand. Between $1 and $10 indicates potential demand, and with a float of less than 10 million shares is a limited level of supply. And that's where the explosive move comes from. So I always look for a float of less than 10 million shares. I will occasionally trade stocks with floats of 15 or 20 million shares, but generally I prefer less than 10 million. And we often see stocks, the ones that make these really crazy moves where they go up 500, 700, 800%, having floats of 1 or even just 2 million shares. And you might ask yourself, well, why the heck would a company do an initial public offering for only 1 million shares, right? Like, that's so much work. There's so much compliance involved. That seems crazy. Well, we have a couple things in the market that result in the float changing. And one of them is stock splits. So some of you may remember when Apple was priced at $700 a share. It was priced at $700 a share, and they decided to do a 7-to-1 stock split, where they split the stock, and instead of being $700 on the next day of trading, it was only $100 a share. And so if on the day before the split, you were holding 1,000 shares of the stock at $700, on the next day when you logged in, you'd be like, oh my God, the stock is at $100 a share. I have just lost I've lost like 70% of my account. And then you look and you say, wait a second, it shows that I'm holding 7,000 shares, and I'm holding them at only $100 a share. And so actually you're break even. And it's just like an exchange. But what it does is it changes the number of shares available. So when a company like Apple does a split, it multiplies the number of shares available by 7. So all of a sudden the float is much bigger. Now the other way, and Chris is mentioning this, is when stocks do a reverse split. So when a stock is priced at 10 cents, the company needs to keep their stock above $1 to maintain New York Stock Exchange compliance requirements. And so if the stock is at $10 or is at 10 cents, they will do a 10-to-1 reverse split. And so what they did was, you're holding 10,000 shares at 10 cents, and on the next day, you're holding 1,000 shares at $1. So it's an exchange. And what that results in is the float going down. And so as companies go down and then do reverse splits and then go down again and do second reverse splits, the float keeps getting lower and lower and lower and lower. And so what that means for us is that those stocks sometimes are primed for incredible moves as the supply level gets lower and lower and lower. Even a moderate amount of demand can create what we would call a parabolic move, which is when a stock goes almost straight up. So TBLT, this is on my scanner. So I scan the entire market, and I'm looking for a stock that has home run potential. And this is the stock in the entire US stock market that is up the most on this morning. So does it meet my criteria? Number one, it has 1.6 million shares of pre-market volume, which we can see in this column right here. And that means it's significantly above average, which you'll just have to take my word for it because you can't see that it is because you don't see the chart, but it was. Number two, it's already up 184%. Remember, our minimum is 5%. That's in this column right here. Number three, it does have a news catalyst. This you don't see on this scanner. Number four, the price is between $1 and $10, as we see in this column right here. And number five, the float is less than 10 million shares at 4.41. So this stock meets all of my criteria to trade. And what I'm going to do in just a moment is I'm going to show you the chart, and I'm going to show you the trade, and I'm going to show you how much money I made on the stock. Let's look at another watch list. This is another watch list. ZKIN. And this is pre-market. This is at 9:25. This was before the bell rang. Before the bell rang, I knew this stock had potential because I have this tool. And this is the benefit of trading with a team. When you trade with a team, you trade with confidence. You're not on your own to try to figure this stuff out. Does ZKIN meet my criteria? Number one, 112,000 shares of pre-market volume for this stock is above average. That's in this column right here. Number two, it's already up 69%, as we see right here. Number three, it has a catalyst. Number four, the price is between $1 and $10. And number five, the float is below 10 million shares at 5.31. Now, the way this is colored is yellow in this column means look at it, it's important. So the yellower it is, the lower the float is. And in this column, the darker the blue, the more volume, and the lighter the color, all the way towards this yellowy color, is very light volume. And we sort of blue and sort of the middle of that range. CANF. Does this stock meet my criteria? Number one, 148,000 shares of volume pre-market. That's above average. Number two, it's up 40% already. Number three, it has a catalyst. Number four, the price is between 1 and 10. And number five, the float is only 1.38 million shares. It's a very low float stock. So this stock meets our criteria. One last example. All right. Does the stock meet our criteria? The volume pre-market, 700,000 shares, gapping up 50%, float 1.78 million shares, price between $1 and $10. It meets all of our criteria. So once you have a system, finding the needle in the haystack is actually quite easy. It's just like using a magnet. Get the magnet over it, pops the needle right up, and you're done. Finding the needle in the haystack. Here's GIVO. Does this stock meet our criteria? $5.20, check. Float of 1 million shares, check. Gapping up 48%, check. 300,000 shares of pre-market volume, check. This stock went from $5.28. It was on my watch list pre-market for a break of $5.28. The entry point that I called out was right here at $5.28. It hit a high of $21. $21. This is a huge opportunity. And again, we're seeing opportunities like this every single week. It's incredible. So these are a couple of students who have learned this strategy and are trading it side by side with me. John has made over $587,000 trading this strategy side by side with me over the last 3.5 years. He previously worked an office job in Manhattan, and he started day trading while he was at work, practicing the strategy, kind of getting the hang of it. And eventually he quit his job, moved to Florida, where there's no income tax, and is living his best life. This is his Maserati. Max lives in Great Britain. He was working at a warehouse, making 64 pounds a day, and now he's making $500 a day as a trader. All right? So that is the potential once you learn this strategy. Chapter 3. My favorite entry for watch list stocks. All right, so in chapter 1, we talked about the candlestick formations, we talked about the charts, and we talked about what constitutes a gap. Chapter 2, we talked about the 5 criteria for home run potential and what my daily watch list looks like and the potential. Chapter 3, I'm going to show you how those stocks on my watch list played out. Now, unfortunately, as Lucas asked earlier, I can't trade for you. Now, instead, I can teach you how to trade. I build the watch list each day of the stocks that have the potential to make 20 to 30% moves. Usually I have 2 to 3 on watch. You choose your share size and manage risk using a 2-to-1 profit-loss ratio, meaning you risk 100 to make 200. You risk 200 to make 400. That's 2-to-1. You always double your potential versus your risk. And you trade the stocks as they move up using the correct entry and exit points for buying and selling that I'm going to show you right here. So my favorite pattern to day trade these gappers is the break of the pre-market highs. All right. So the break of pre-market highs is very interesting because we have this pre-market trading session that begins in the early hours of the morning and lasts up until the bell rings at 9:30. Most people don't trade pre-market. There's not a lot of volume, there's not a lot of activity, but it's an early indicator of what the stock is going to do and the price that it's going to open at. And so I look at the pre-market highs on the stock, and if we break those pre-market highs when the bell rings, that is a very strong sign of strength. I mean, it's a great sign of strength, and that's what we look for. So the break of the pre-market highs, this is my strategy outline. And this is one of many strategies that I trade. For the gap and go setup, I trade the break of pre-market highs, I trade red to green moves, I trade 1 minute opening range breakout, 5 minute opening range breakout, the first pullback, the second pullback, and entries at $half and whole dollars. Those are my 7 favorite entry points. And right now we're only going to talk about one, which is the break of pre-market highs. It is one of my favorite, but I want you to know that there are many different ways that you can buy these strong stocks. We just don't have time in this workshop to cover all of them. So my entry is based on the break of the pre-market highs, which is often near $half and whole dollars because those are psychological levels of support and resistance. The target here is continuation, continued momentum, and 15 to 25 cents of potential profit. Risk factors. Anytime a stock is on the gap scanner, we know that it's extended, right? We know that it's extended by being on the gap scanner, so we have to be a little bit cautious. Our stop loss, typically the low of the previous 5 minute candle, or I will use an arbitrary stop of 5, 10, or 20 cents with a profit target of 10, 20, or 40 cents. 2 to 1 profit versus loss. This is probably the strategy that I trade the most often, but I've gotten really good at knowing when a stock will fail and when to avoid it. The majority of stocks that gap up will not result in big 20 to 30% moves. It's only the ones that meet the 5 criteria that I have found consistently give us those types of big opportunities. So let's look at an example here. The stock is ATV. The entry price is at $7.50. So the entry price is right here, just about at the $half on this candle as it breaks the $half. Now on this stock I made only about $700, but 85% or 75% of the students that traded this stock with me in our chat room were also profitable. These are Warrior Pro students. Entry $7.50, max loss $7.30. That's a 20-cent stop. Profit target therefore needs to be 40 cents. Actual profit realized $8.87. That was the high of the move. Result 18% from the entry. That's an 18% breakout. Here's CANF. All right, now this is a gap and go entry. Entry is at $7.55 for the break of the pre-market high. On this one I made $7,118. Max loss $7.35. First profit target $7.45. Actual profit realized $8.46 was the high, almost $1 per share, 12% from the entry. ZKIM, we looked at this one earlier. All right, pre-market high was right here. Entry point $3.20. Max loss $3.10. So we're risking 10 cents per share. Profit target $3.40. Profit realized $4.18. $6,442 of profit. I'm making more most days than most people make in an entire month. And it's day trading these gap and go stocks. 30% breakout. So this is what my daily watch list usually looks like. This is the stock I'm looking at. This is the entry. This is the potential max loss and profit target. Here we go on PDSB. Entry point $7.50. Break of the $half. Squeezed up to a high of $9.46. And there were multiple opportunities to trade this stock. We had our first break of pre-market high setup, which we're talking about here, giving us 17% from the entry point. So you're going to see this again and again and again. Here's a couple more students. Peter from the Czech Republic. shout out for those of you guys in Europe. Still works as a computer specialist, because here's the cool thing. He works from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. And then when he gets home, he trades the U.S. market, because the U.S. market is open until about 10 o'clock his time. So he's able to trade after work, which means he's got double income, 2 jobs. And then you've got Kaskani from Nevada, previously worked in e-commerce, exchanged that 9-to-5 job for $3,000 a day trading side by side with me and the team at Warrior Trading. So my day trading strategy, I trade the stocks on my watch list. I buy the breaks of the pre-market high, and I remember, breakout or bailout. We need instant resolution or I'm out. It either works or it doesn't. I don't stick around to wait because the risk factor of buying stocks that are extended. If it doesn't work, I'm out. Number 4, as soon as I have a small profit, I often go ahead and sell half of my position to guarantee a winning trade, and then I adjust my new exit price to the original entry point. That way I'm guaranteed to make money. And if it continues to go up, then that's great. Number 5, I will continue trading off the watch list following pullback, red to green, ABCD strategies outlined in Chapter 6 of the Day Trade course, which is part of the Warrior Pro class. So the magic happens when you combine understanding the power of gaps, low floats, and the perfect entry. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. Here we go, ZKIN. This is the one that I made 6,400 on. We've got it on the watch list as a gapper, pre-market. We know it has potential before the bell even rings. This isn't me RV. It was gapping up 100. And 50%. The entry at 12. $31. The exit on the move up. You're able to watch over their shoulder as they're navigating the market. You don't have to do this on your own. This is a day where I made $7,975. I mean, you can see how once you get it, and this is the blessing and the curse of the market. The only difference between making $500 a day and making $5,000 is share size. If you make $500 a day with 1,000, my risk tolerance. And so I've kind of come up to a little bit of a plateau with share size. To trade, to make a great living trading. And a couple more things that we're going to cover here. So on January 1st, 2017, I decided to do something crazy. I wanted to prove that you could become a millionaire with as little as $583. Now, the truth is, I funded the account was $700. I put $700 in my account. And what I didn't realize was that the last time I traded in the account, I took money out, and then at the end of that month, they charged a platform fee, and so I had a negative balance. And so when I put $700 in, that after the negative balance was only $583.15. So on January 1st, when I started trading, I looked in and I was like, wait, I thought I put in $700. It's only $583.15. What's the deal? And I was like, well, I've already committed to doing this challenge, so I guess I'm just going to start with a little bit less, and let's just see what happens. Now, because the minimum account balance was $500, I knew there was a chance that if I lost money on day one, I would have to add more money to the account. And I figured that if that was the case, that would just show, you know, the very real struggle of trading with a small account. But on the first day, I got my first trade as a green trade, and I made $124. On day 2, I made $187. On day 3 and day 4, I made $150 and $150. And so by the end of the first week, I had doubled my account. By the end of 45 days, I had turned the account into over $100,000. Think about where each one of you will be 45 days after your first trade with real money. Now, if you're doing it completely on your own, there is pretty much not a chance that you're going to have more than $20,000 of profit. If you trade with a team, if you trade based on a strategy that's proven, if you trade based on a strategy that you have proven is profitable, trading in a simulator, you've got a great chance of growing that account very quickly. On May 1st, 2019, I crossed the $1 million mark. And this was the challenge, to prove that you can become a millionaire with as little as $500. 5 trades a day, 2 hours a day of trading time, half an hour of prep, an hour of trading, 30 minutes of cool down and taking some notes. Average winners, about $982. Average losers, about $1,000. But I'm right more than I'm wrong at just under 68% accuracy. Biggest winner, $31,000. This was on the day that I finished up 40 grand. Largest loser, $19,000. In fact, this was just 1 month before I crossed over the $1 million line. I tried to swing for the fences and finish. On that day, I thought I was going to finish the $1 million challenge. I took a big, aggressive trade. I lost, and I spent the rest of the month trying to regain and get myself back up to the $1 million mark. So, guess what, guys? You just finished the first chapter of the Warrior Pro class. So, my question for you guys, now that you know that you just finished the first class for our students, is how many of you want to continue on to chapter 2? So one of the goals for me, whenever I host these types of workshops, I do it when I'm looking to bring on a new group of students to take under my wing to work with me as they go through the Warrior Starter class and the Warrior Pro class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 35 of you who are here today the opportunity to join our classes and to start working side by side with me. Now, because we're bringing on a new group of students, we've put together something really special for you guys today that is only available right here, right now. You won't see it on our website. You won't see it sent to you in an email. You won't see it anywhere else. It is only for you guys who have shown that you've got the 3 Ds, the dedication, the discipline, and the drive to register for this webinar, and then to show up to the webinar, and then to watch up until right now. Now, for those of you guys who are watching this on a replay, we are only going to make the replay available until we have filled all 35 seats, and then we're going to take the replay offline. So, if you're watching this on a replay, it means we still have at least 1 seat open that the people who attended this live workshop weren't able to fill. So here's the deal. I have worked with literally thousands of traders who are in the same exact place as all of you are. That's why I was nominated in 2016, 17, 18 at the Benzinga FinTech Awards for Best Educator. I know what it takes to get you guys through strategy development and to get you to the other side, which is live trading, a proven strategy. Now, why don't I ask you guys an interesting question here. Some of you might think this is a little off topic, but I want you guys to type in the chat room right now how much you're paying in commissions. Now, I have actually had students who joined the Warrior Pro class who were already profitable traders who only joined because they wanted to be able to take advantage of the group rate that we've set up with several big brokers in the US. We've set up this group rate that allows our students to trade with a commission of $2 per trade. So you guys typing $5.95, $6.95, $7.95, $10, you're going to save, some of you, up to 80% on every trade you take simply because you're part of the largest day trading community on Wall Street. When you're the largest community on Wall Street, you get the ability to go to a broker and say, hey, you want our students to trade with you? Give us a great commission rate, and that's exactly what we did, and we negotiated commissions down to $2 per trade, and that is only for you guys here. So, in fact, it is only for Warrior Pro students. And so for the 35 students who join us today, you will be able to take part in our discounted commission rate, which means you are going to subsidize the entire cost of your education through discounted commissions. You will literally save thousands and thousands of dollars in commissions every single year that you're a member of Warrior Trading. It'll pay for your education and then some. So the commission rebate we have is with Lightspeed Trading, and the second one we have is with CMEG. CMEG is the broker that will allow you to start trading with as little as $500, and Canadians, yep, they're accepted as well. So these are the 2 brokers that are both participating in our broker rebate plan. And this is exclusive to Warrior Pro students. So the 35 students who join us today, you'll be able to take advantage of this rebate. So now what I want to do is I want to walk you guys through the program that I've put together for you guys. You have just finished chapter 1, and I want to walk you through what the next few weeks are going to look like for those that become a member of the Warrior Trading family today. The first class that you're going to go through is the Warrior Starter class. The Warrior Starter class is a 15-chapter course that I taught over the course of about 2 weeks. Each chapter is about an hour long. Some are a little shorter, some are a little longer. You will be able to live stream them on our website, the same as you would stream Netflix or anything else like that. You can pause it, resume it when you've got time, go back and see your progress, just like watching a television series or something like that. And the goal of the starter class is that it gets everyone on the same page. We're going to go into more detail about the financial markets, what constitutes an investment vehicle. We're going to talk about different account types, including retirement accounts, cash accounts, and margin accounts. We're going to get into fundamental analysis, including understand P/E ratios, understanding SEC filings, breaking news. We're going to talk about technical analysis, indicators, my favorite technical indicators, breaking down the charts in a bit more detail. Number 6, chapter 6, we're going to get into account information and balances. And from this point right here until right around here, I'm going to be teaching you how to use a trading platform. I'm going to be actually teaching you how to use the trading software that I use to trade every single day. And chapter 13, 14, and 15, we prepare you for moving into advanced trading strategies, which are part of the Warrior Pro curriculum. The starter is our prerequisite course. Everyone goes through the starter before advancing into the Warrior Pro Masterclass suite of courses. Now, we do something kind of interesting here, which is Ross just taught a brand new penny stock trading class, and you've got to go sign up for it here. Any new classes that we release at Warrior Trading are part of this curriculum. And so this very first class that you're going to be enrolled in will be my 15-chapter day trade course that I first taught in 2014. First chapter, Intro to Day Trading. We'll then get into risk management, stocks to trade, what constitutes home run setups in more detail. Daily chart patterns, where we're going to talk about the gaps, the windows. Intraday chart patterns, the bull flags, the flat top breakouts, the bear flags, the bullish engulfing and bearish engulfing candles. Gap and go trading, where I'll talk about each one of the subsets of the strategy, the red to green move, the first pullback, the opening range breakout, break of pre-market highs. Momentum trading, which has about 12 subsets of strategies, including how to trade and scalp in and out of circuit breaker halts. Reversal trading and short selling, stock scanning. Level 2, scalp trading in detail, trader psychology, building your trading plan. This is the entire curriculum of the day trade course. By the end of this class, you will have a template for how to trade the market right in front of you. Now, for those of you guys who are more interested in trading large cap stocks, Mike focuses on blue chips, and the stocks he trades, Netflix, Apple, Tesla, Facebook, these are more expensive stocks. But what we found is that there's a lot of traders who are coming to the table to supplement their retirement, who have larger account sizes, and who want to be able to trade the stocks that they're familiar with. There's sort of a saying about trade what you know, and that's something. Choose one advanced strategy to master, and then once you've mastered it, then you move on to the second one, rather than trying to learn 2 or 3 all at the same time. And then Steve's got a futures and forex trading course where you'll learn how to trade both commodities and foreign exchange. And as you go through this class, you're going to realize that for those of you who are still working 9-to-5 jobs, the commodities markets are open 24 hours a day. So when you get home from work, you can be trading with Steve in the chat room from 7 o'clock until 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, whatever you want. And you could be trading corn, soybean, natural gas, steel, coffee beans, cotton, etc. Those are all commodities that you can be trading, and it's a super liquid market. You can trade with either big size or small size, and just like you've got me, just like you've got Mike, you've got Steve there to guide you and help navigate those markets so you're not doing it on your own. As part of the Warrior Pro class, we also have a number of smaller elective classes. We've got one on cryptocurrency trading, options trading, swing trading, and day trading in an IRA. These were classes that were requested by students, and so we built out these 3 to 5 chapter electives, which some students have really enjoyed. So you'll have access to all of those as well. Now, in addition to those classes, those 4 chapters or 4 classes or courses that you'll have access to, what we put together for the 35 of you that joined today are 5 trading tools that will help accelerate your learning curve and give you a head start as you begin your journey to becoming a successful trader. The first one is we're going to give you a full year of access to our day trading chat room. So the day trading chat room is where you'll be able to see me live streaming trading every single morning. It's where you'll see me break down the watch list, breaking down the stocks on the computer, and it gives you that direct connection to me. And these are days where I say, hey guys, how much did you make today? And students will shout out how much they made. $300, $820, $1,100, $800, $800, $1,300, $100, $300, $500, $680, $160, $600, $100, $1,750, $355, $358. Students are in all different places of their learning curve. Some are trading in a simulator, some are trading with real money, some are trading with big size, some are trading with small size. We're all at different places, and that's okay. The reason we're all here is because we all share this common goal of finding a little bit of profit each day in the market. Another day where I asked who made money, $185, $1,400, $100, $180, $12, $100, $2,000, $15,000. This is a trader trading more on my level. $160, $34, $230. The goals were met. That's what it's all about. The second tool that I'm going to give you guys access to are our real-time trading our real-time trading simulator. Now, here's the really cool thing. This is the same exact software that you will use when you trade real money at either Lightspeed or CMEG. I have a license agreement with the same provider of their software where they provide this exclusively to our students, so our students can trade in this simulated environment. You get real-time market data. We're going to pay your data fees on your behalf. You're going to get hotkeys, meaning when you press a button, you can be buying and selling as quickly as you press that button. Same exact software I use. Same exact software you'll use with real money. And that means that once you've proven you can be profitable in this software, you've proven you have what it takes to trade with real money. Now, a lot of other educators out there will have you trade in these simulators that are totally different from what you would trade when you trade with real money, which means you haven't really proved that you have what it takes to be profitable, because when you go live, you've got to relearn this whole new thing of software. And sometimes that change could be the difference between being profitable and not. Now, the third tool that I want to give you guys is my live trading archives. So while I'm trading, I'm often recording my screen. And then what I do is I export those recordings and I upload them to our learning management software where you guys are able to stream them. So at the end of all the classes, there's a separate folder and a separate section that are called the live trading archives. And that's where all the live recordings go. And so on the days where I make $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, or on the days where I hit my max loss, you can re-watch those days of trading and see where I pressed the buy button, where I pressed the sell button, where I got in, where I got out, each individual order. And you can just watch it and watch it to really gain some of those insights about what I'm seeing that's helping me make the decisions of where to get in and where to get out. Now, the fourth tool that we're going to give you guys is access to our 6 times weekly mentor sessions. Now, the cool thing about these sessions, we've scheduled them Monday through Friday with professional traders and our in-house trading therapist, whose name is Ted. And you can see him right here. And this is another one of those things that we do that no one else does. We actually have a trading therapist on staff who hosts 2 sessions a week to work with you guys on the emotional components of trading. Those of you who have been trading for 3 months, 6 months, or longer, you know that trading is more than just learning the mechanical skill. It's about being able to tolerate the ups and the downs, learning to sort of condition yourself to experience it and have it not be a big deal. And that's a really important thing for us to acknowledge that and to have put these support systems in place to help students who may have a hard time with it. And so this is part of the curriculum. You guys will have access to these 6 times weekly mentor sessions where you can drop in. You don't have to attend all of them, but you can if you want. And you can come in, you can ask questions, and you can talk to a professional trader, myself included, and say, hey, I'm in chapter 6, I had this question, it didn't totally make sense, and you get an answer right there. Now, the 5th tool that you're going to get access to is my private stock scanner settings. These are the scanner settings that I use every single day to find the big gappers. Now, this right here is that gap scanner right down in the corner. These are all of the other scanners that I'm using sort of behind the scenes to help me find stocks that have home run potential. And this is literally my most valuable tool because this is the magnet. This is how I find the needle in the haystack, and I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you because it's the edge that you need to be a successful trader. And without it, you're going to struggle. And I want you to have every single advantage that I had when I got started. All right, so now let's look here at everything that we've put together for you guys. So you're getting the Warrior Starter Course, the Warrior Pro Masterclass Suite, Trading Tool 1, the chat room, the trading simulator, the live trading archives, the 6 times weekly mentor sessions for 1 year, the private stock scanner settings, total real world value. If you bought all of this on the website, would be over $19,000. You guys aren't going to pay that, but at the same time, I want you to appreciate the value that exists here. What you're going to learn is a strategy that you can use to make a full-time living as a trader. And we had two choices about how to create this type of curriculum and this type of course. And what a lot of people out there do is they go cheap. They create these 90-minute long DVDs and they'll sell them for $1,000 or something like that. And the reality is you will not be a successful trader after watching a 90-minute long DVD. It is not enough. In order to get over the hill, in order to actually be successful, you need a trading simulator with real-time market data. You need a chat room where you can watch over my shoulder every single day. You need a robust LMS with all of these classes where you can go in and watch them and rewatch them. The starter class is 15 hours. The day trade course is another 35, 40 hours. That's the type of education you need, a full curriculum, like a full-length college class. And so we went with the highest value. And that requires a little bit more upfront from you, but what you get in exchange is the best class on Wall Street. And that's why Warrior Trading has grown to the largest online education firm. This is a day where 85% of the students who traded TMSR side by side with me made money. You haven't seen this stock yet today, but let's go through the checklist. The price is fine. The float, the gap, is up 50%. The float, 6 million shares, above average pre-market volume. The bell rings. Breaker pre-market high is $4. It squeezes up to $8.50. That's more than 100%. I'm up over $18,000 in a matter of an hour. 88% of the students who traded this stock side by side with me made money. I'm up over $10,000. 85% of the students who traded this stock side by side with me made money. I'm up almost $8,000. This is what it's all about. These are real members of the Warrior Trading family. What I want you to do is harness the power of education, and I want you to become our next success story. We've grown to over 5,000 members in less than 4 years because we do something no one else does. We provide the templates, we provide the education. I have no doubt that we will grow to over 10,000 members in the next 4 years as more and more people discover the power of the market. You guys are at a huge advantage with our broker rebate program. $2 per trade with light speed. You've got the broker rebate with CMEG. You can open an account with $500. You guys are getting every advantage to become really successful traders. Warrior Starter Class, Warrior Pro Class, the 5 trading tools, total real world value over $19,000. You guys aren't going to pay that. But this is what we're going to do. I want to give you guys, 35 of you, the opportunity to work with me, to let me take you under my wing to become one of our next students, to become our next success story. Now, because we are limiting enrollment, you're going to have to sign up and reserve your seat. We will bring on 35 students today, and I will give you 3 awesome ways that you can join the class. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a payment plan. 3 installments of $9.97. Your first installment is today, and that gives you access to everything. And then you'll have 2 more payments of $9.97 over the course of the next 3 months. The second option is to pay for the full 3 months for $24.97, and you'll save $500. And the third way to join is to join for a full year. You'll pay an extra $500 versus those who are on the 3 installments of $9.97, but instead of 3 months of access, you'll get a full year of access, and you can use PayPal credit if you want to use a PayPal payment plan with this purchase. You can use PayPal for any of the 3, but PayPal credit is only available on the annual plan right here. And I want you guys to know that we're going to do something else no one else does. We're going to give you guys a 14-day money-back guarantee. We're stepping up to stand behind first come, first serve. So I will call how many seats we still have available. All right, so let's see. And yes, I will answer some questions here. We're going to do Q&A in 1 second. Let's see. I just want to make sure you guys can. That's really cool, and I really want you guys to utilize. We worked closely with PayPal Credit to put this together, and what it means is you can sign up today and you're not coming out of pocket a single penny. You go through PayPal Credit. If you already have a PayPal account, it's super easy. If you don't have one, you can create one, and you get pre-approved with trade in the simulator, trade in the chat room, and even start trading before you have to make any payments on or start earning interest on the cost. PayPal Credit is only for U.S. residents. That's the only reason that we offer this payment plan right here. So for those of you guys who are international who still want to join on a payment plan, 3 installments of $9.97 is the best way to get started. That's the easiest way to get your foot in the door, reserve a seat, and if at the end of those 3 installments you want to upgrade to 1 year, we'll give you a special opportunity to upgrade at the end of those 3 installments. Now, as I mentioned, we offer a 14-day money-back guarantee. This is something that nobody else does, and you have to ask yourself, why doesn't everyone offer a 14-day money-back guarantee? Why doesn't everyone give people a chance to have a 14-day trial? The reason is because they have to stand behind a product that they're selling. And so if they give you, an amazing, breakdown of everything that's included in the product, but then when you actually get into it, you don't enjoy it, well, then that's not going to work because, you're going to ask for a refund immediately. And so, I talk a pretty big game here. I'm saying that this is the best class for anyone learning to day trade. And we offer a 14-day money-back guarantee, which means you can jump in there, you can test it out for yourself, and if you don't agree with me, no harm, no foul. The only thing we ask you to do is the homework of the first 4 lessons, the quizzes. And we ask you to do that because when you sign up, you're taking a seat from one of the 35 that are available. So we want to make sure that everyone that joins today really wants to make this happen. But if you jump in and you genuinely try to make it work and you're like, you know what, this isn't for me, no harm, no foul. We part ways as friends. And we even have people on Trustpilot who leave testimonials who say, this ended up not being for me, but I would recommend it to any one of my friends because Warrior Trading is awesome and Ross was a great teacher. And that's one of the best testimonials we can get from someone who actually wasn't able to complete the program, it wasn't the right fit for them, but would still recommend it. And you know that that's not going to be the same with those other sites out there that say all sales are final. Money back on PayPal Credit too. Yep, absolutely. You get the 14-day money back guarantee whether you join with the 3 installments of $9.97, the 1 installment of $24.97, or when you join for the full year for $34.97, whether it's with PayPal or just you join right off with a credit card. 14-day money back guarantee is for every single one of you guys. Now, this is also important for you to know. We don't offer the 14-day money back guarantee on our website. On our website, because students on the website have lots of time to peruse and view the website and check out all of our programs, when they make their purchase, at that point we say, that's final. You made your decision. You guys are getting the 14-day money back guarantee because you're in this workshop right now, because we only have 35 seats available, and since you need to step up to the plate and take the leap, I want to give you this bit of security so you feel more comfortable taking the leap. It's basically giving you that parachute where you've got a way out if you decide this isn't the right fit for you. So this is what you guys have to do. Go to warriortrading.com/webinar promo, and then on that page you can choose, let's see, and I can pop up a link here. When you jump onto that page, you can choose whether you want to join for the 3 installments of $9.97, the 1 payment of $24.97, or the payment for 1 year for $34.97. So the page should look a little something like this, and you'll choose one of these 3 options. So let's say you choose $34.97, you go next, and then you put in your info down here. Then you put in either your credit card info here, or you'll redirect over to PayPal This is on a secure server, so you don't have to worry about that. AAA, BBB, A+ rating, totally secure on this side. All right, now I was going to play this video, but since the first video didn't play super well, I think I'm just going to skip over it, and I want to show you guys a couple of other things here, and then we'll do some Q&A. So the first thing I wanted to show you is that some of you who said you're at the very beginning of your journey, you may not realize that this industry is really tough. In the sense that there's a lot of people out there offering education, and a lot of it isn't good. It's not good education, it's not good classes. A lot of it, in fact, is predatory. One of the things that I've seen is there's a lot of companies out there that have multiple gurus. And we don't even like to use that word because it just has this negative connotation. But they'll have guru number one. And so if they have a workshop like this, they would give you a link to join the class of guru number one for $29.99, for instance. And if you fail, meaning you cancel that product and you don't continue to be a member, well, they're going to send you a link to go register for guru number two. And then they'll send you a link for guru number three. And then they'll send you one for guru number four. And so the more times you fail, the more money they make. And so what do they really benefit from you succeeding on your first stab with the first, trading guru? They don't. They actually will do a lot better if you fail. So are they not, given the fact that they have an economic benefit for you to fail, would they not maybe do things that would make it easier for you to fail or make it harder for you to succeed? And